flashy at best and scandalous at worst. I referred to recent reports that places for disabled supporters at some Premiership football grounds had been taken out to make way for more television camera positions. Now, by coincidence, my lords, the BBC screened an item on their TV news bulletins yesterday reporting on the findings of its own investigation into disabled access at Premier League grounds. And it centred on the experience of Mr. Anthony Joy, an Arsenal fan and wheelchair user. The BBC reported that only Swansea, Southampton and Cardiff City complied with the recommendations of the Accessible Stadia Guide, and at 8 clubs, including Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United and Tottenham, don't provide even half the number of wheelchair spaces laid down in the guide. And Mr. Joy said that at West Ham, Aston Villa and Liverpool, the limited number of spaces meant that he'd have to sit with the home fans. Taking all 92 professional football clubs into account, only 14 provide the minimum recommended numbers of wheelchair user spaces, and many clubs only offer very few away spaces for wheelchair users, some as low as 3. This is not good enough, my lords, and something has to be done. And as Level Playing Field said in their evidence to the Select Committee, it is unacceptable within an industry that remains collectively wealthy with record-breaking resources, including the new Premier League TV broadcasting deal for 2013-14, which is reported to be in excess of £5.5 billion. Now, I was pleased to see in their response to our report, the government said that they agree that disabled people should be provided with appropriate standards of access to football and other sports grounds to continue the successes around accessibility at the London Olympic and Paralympic Games. The Equality Act, and continuing to quote their response, the Equality Act 2010 requires providers of services to the public, including sports grounds, to make reasonable adjustments so that disabled people are not placed at a substantial disadvantage compared to non-disabled people in accessing their services. If football is to avoid having to face scores of claims for damages under the Equality Act, action is needed now. First, my lords, there needs to be an access audit review into what has to be done at each ground to ensure that every club meets at least the minimum requirements of the ASG. There must then be a strict timetable established to the implementation of the necessary work, similar to what happened in the aftermath of the Taylor report into the Hillsborough Stadium disaster, when clubs in the top divisions had to go all-seater within a specified time frame. This programme should be overseen by the Sports Ground Safety Authority and funded, if necessary, by the Football Stadia Improvement Fund. But given the amount of money within football today, compared with 20 or so years ago, and with clubs prepared to pay players up to £300,000 per week, it is not acceptable for the clubs to plead poverty and to continue